hockey. Yeah.
My favorite.
It's Judd's Hockey Show.
Judd's Hockey Show. It's the Wednesday extravaganza. That's right. That means it's Judd, it's AJ, and most importantly, Jessi Pierce, Bar Down Beauties, which you can find, of course, now on the Score North Podcast Network each week as well. Also, she covers the Wild, does a great job for NHL.com. A woman of many talents and a woman who's going to help us break it down because, gentlemen and ladies, we got reckless speculation, and it might not be reckless, okay? So Jessi sent us this, AJ, yesterday on our text thread, and I believe it was Frank Saravelli, a respected NHL insider, talking about Artemi Panarin, and is he going to stay with the Rangers? He's going to be a free agent after the season. What's going to happen? And Saravelli sort of unprompted mentioned the Wild, which we have heard before. Then later in the day, I came across, I think independently, an Elliot Friedman clip of late that mentioned the same exact thing and sort of just in passing. Like, these people know stuff and they talk to people, but they sort of present it as, I wonder if. It's very speculative, but it's speculative from a place of knowledge as opposed to a lot of us who just like to throw stuff out and see if it sticks to the wall. So Jessi, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on, and we've heard his name before tied to the Wild, but I feel like it might be gaining steam. Artemi Panarin, he's going to be 34 next fall. And he is a guy who shares an agent with Kirill Kaprizov. They're both Russian. What are your thoughts here on what this could mean?
Oof, there's a lot to unpack here. Because the irony is, right, the rumors circulating prior was that Kaprizov was going to join Panarin in New York. He was going to lure him this way. He was going to be a part of the Rangers. Well, that has since changed. And I believe reports out of the Rangers are that Panarin is not happy with New York, and he is a free agent coming up this offseason. I'm torn because he's 34, right? Like, he's going to be 34, and I feel like whether it's via trade or whether it's via free agency, it's going to be expensive to get this man who had, 120 points 2 years ago and 90 points last season. Like, he's certainly an elite offensive power, and I love that. But also, Vinny Hinostroza forced him to turn the puck over earlier on this week. So, let's take it with a grain of salt. I believe I texted that to you guys. I was like, I don't want. Before we even heard the rumors circulated, I was like, I don't want it. I will take it if it's affordable. I can't be selling, whether, again, via trade or via free agency, because you do need secondary scoring. You do need, obviously, a kick in the butt when it comes to offensively. Like, we should not be missing Matt Zuccarello as bad as we are right now for the Minnesota Wild, and that's because you don't have somebody like Panarin, another superstar. Matt Boldy's right there with Kaprizov, but you still need more across the line charts. And if he's affordable, which he's not going to be, that's where I'm at. I say no if it's too much. I say yes if it's affordable.
What do you think, AJ?
I think there's too much baggage there. I understand he's over a point per game player in his career, and maybe I'm biased because I still just don't like him from his time playing with Kane for the Blackhawks. Like, so good. Watching him score against the Wild just game after game after game after game, it was annoying as like a 12-year-old. It was really annoying, and I still harbor that hate somewhere deep inside of me. That being said, he is a fantastic player, but all of the extracurriculars and what you like, if you Google Artemi Panarin attitude, the second article down is from like a week ago from Yahoo Sports about how his attitude and everything just isn't meshing. Is he a locker room like cyst that can't get out of Broadway? All this stuff. I don't want that in Minnesota. Like, that screams too big of a personality for the Wild. And I mean, we already have how if they're going to just hand stuff to Marcus Johansson, and right now Vladimir Tarasenko, who I understand scored his first goal of the season over the past week, but you're going to hand now a top line role to this guy who is a much better player than both of them. I want to point that out.
Yeah.
But at the first sign of adversity, if things go bad, they're not going to even consider like shaking things up. It's going to be these two are locked. This is going to be worse in a sense of how tight and how locked together they are than the original Zuccarello Kaprizov partnership, like in the early days. This is going to be joint twins, Siamese twins. They're never going to leave each other's lines. And I think the price that Jessi brings up is the biggest thing for me. You're going to give an arm and a leg, and I feel like there's got to be a better option out there, multiple options rather, that you could go and get not as good of a player, but a player that is going to have an impact and probably be a heck of a lot cheaper.
The question I have about this entire thing too is, because originally we were talking about signing him, that the Wild might sign him as a free agent next July, which obviously would cost you money, but cost you no assets. It feels to me like now, if the conversation is going to start now, and I could not, in listening to Friedman and Saravelli, I could not decide. I couldn't decide if they were talking about next July or a trade because of where things stand. And I will say this: the Wild needs scoring help now. Like that's my thing. I mean, if they're talking about July, I don't care about next July, especially for a guy who's going to turn 34 in the fall. You need scoring help right now too. So like if we're talking about options, and yes, the Panarin demeanor does play, and personality plays a role here for sure, especially given the history of this club. But this team, Jessi, to me, like I'm with you. Matt Zuccarello is important. I get that. And there's no way he should be this important. I mean, he is an older guy himself. They can't basically score goals. They got Kaprizov and Boldy, and then they just have a lot of guys. I mean, Marcus Johansson's being made to look like a star because, oh my God, he set up a goal and scored a goal on this road trip. And I just go through those wingers outside of the top two who are great, and I say, what are you going to do here? Because it just feels to me like I don't know where the goal scoring is going to come from. And I also don't know when Zuccarello's back, might be next month, but how's he going to be? How long is that going to take? And is that really going to solve all of your problems?
Yeah, you look at this roster and point blank, it's just not good enough. It is not a roster that's going to get you what you need. Again, I'm loving seeing Matt Boldy. I loved the other night in New York too, when you saw those guys not want to get off the ice because they recognize that they need to take over. They need to take on that leadership role. Unfortunately, right? Because that's
I know, but it's not a good.
No,
it's not a good thing. But I agree with you. Yes,
right. Like it's something needed to happen, and that was something I had almost begged of these guys. Like, okay, now lift them on your back even more, because I don't know what else the answer is, because you can't will Matt Zuccarello back any sooner. And again, it's annoying that is such a missing piece. It shouldn't be. Matt Zuccarello, as you mentioned, Judd, good player. I think he contributes great. We know what he can bring, but he is not your superstar elite talent that you are missing from this lineup. It's just it's unheard of. So I agree. I think you have to explore, whether it's Panarin, whether it's somebody else, you need to explore an elite. The only reason that I would again entertain the idea is because I would love having another elite superstar, another elite scorer like him. Putting aside what I'm sure will be bad locker room chemistry, I cannot see him fitting in that locker room at all, like not even one iota. I just think it'd be very bizarre and very uncomfortable. But beyond that, on the ice, that would be so great to have another guy that can just score on a whim, right? Now, from the Rangers' perspective, too, how insane will they look if they trade him away when they can't score goals themselves either? Yeah. Right? Like, it's the asking price will have to be huge, and they're going to have to ask for more than just prospects. I don't think a Liam Ogren's going to get it done. A Marcus Johansson's not going to get it across the board, right? I mean, it's going to be a haul, which again, Minnesota also can't afford to do. Like, they can't get rid of. They're also struggling to put points in the back on that. So unfortunately, as much as I would love to have an elite talent on this roster, I don't think it's going to come by way of trade, just because this trade in particular, just because you're going to have to give up too much, and it's just not going to be there.
Yeah.
So what's the trade then? Like, if you were to go to market, or if you were to go call Drury and the Rangers and say, we want Artemi Panarin because we promised, off the record, we promised Kirill we'd get him. What's the trade?
It's got to be an Ogren, and which I think makes sense for the Wild right now, because you're clearly not invested in him being an NHL player, right? Like you're just, it doesn't feel that way, which I'm okay with, because you're not giving him the ice time anyway. But it's also going to have to be like maybe a Marco Rossi, I would think. Like, you're going to have to give them something that they can latch onto. Marco Rossi, you can. Now he's hurt right now, so that's not exactly ideal.
Sure.
I don't know if you look at a Zuki situation too, who's also coming back from injury, but I think that's going to have to be the high asking price. If I'm the Rangers, I'm not giving you Panarin for just a bunch of prospects and a couple picks. Like, I need somebody now that can also enter my lineup and do something. You look at the Ratton and Neckus trade almost too. It's got to be something almost that high level, I think. And I don't think Minnesota has the talent to compensate, frankly, right?
Yeah, I mean the big thing too is like he's making over 11.6 million dollars. The Wild have a little over $2 million in cap space. So whatever deal you're making, unless like Jessi said, you're doing the Rossi, which is the 7 million or 5 million, and then you have Zuccarello, which adds what, 4? But even then, he'd have to agree to that to part ways, which I don't know if he would do. I feel like he would take that pretty personally. Oh, so you're going to move me out for a different winger from my old? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to make a deal with them to where they're retaining salary, and I don't think they. I mean, they're gonna have you. They're gonna have you like Kirill had you in the offseason where they know you're gonna pay whatever it takes. The problem is I don't know if the Wild have much more than a first, and I don't want to give up a first for a 33, soon to be 34-year-old winger whose contract expires, who I'm not sure the team is going to want come next summer. Like it, to me, this is one of the worst paths I think they could potentially go down, and there's a lot cheaper options.
Yeah.
So let's talk about where things stand right now, because I mean we're still early in the season. The points, as they always are ordinarily this time in each conference are jumbled. So, but let's just talk about where we think this team is, because the other thing that I find to be a little bit problematic is when Zuccarello comes back. Like, let's say they put him on the top line again with Kaprizov, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So John Hines a couple times has split those guys up because he's like, I got to get more scoring from different lines, and he's not wrong about that. But my problem is this: Zuccarello, Kaprizov, top line. Let's say it's Eriksson. Second line, Rossi, Boldy, Tarasenko. Well, when Boldy's been moved off of the Kaprizov line, it's not like he's been on. It's not like the other line he goes on to becomes a juggernaut. So I guess my concern is this. And Jessi, you brought this up briefly, but it's my biggest thing: is this just not that good of team? Like when it comes to, I think the goaltending's been good. I like Bouillon. There's things I like. I mean, defensively, they're not exactly the most sound team. They've got some good defensemen, but is this just at the end of the day right now, without some type of trade, without some type of influx of more scoring talent, is this just a team that's a borderline playoff team, has a superstar player, I consider Boldy a star player, not a superstar, but a star player, but up front, is that basically all she wrote at this point?
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to last year. They're returning a very similar roster to last year, and they simply overexceeded the expectations before them. They got probably a few lucky bounces. Things were just going their way, and that happens, right? Like, that's a completely normal thing. Right now, the thing that is killing me, there's three main areas. The whole thing's killing me. The team's killing me. That's what they're doing. Let's be honest.
Well, we don't want that. You're young.
Well,
you're a mom. You can't die. Your kids need you.
Considering the condensed schedule too, like the sample size is small, but it's a ton of games in a short amount of time. So I am taking it at face value too. Like, they're showing us enough. There's zero consistency between games. There's zero consistency between periods. Like, I don't know what this team is doing. Like, every game I'm like, well, we'll find out, I guess. Maybe they're going to play in the first period. Maybe they'll play in the third. Maybe they'll blow a lead. Like, if there's no consistency to that, which is so frustrating, which comes from the lack of scoring depth and the lack of offense. But then the defense, you mentioned that, Judd. What is going on? Like, this is a defense that should be very familiar with the system, very familiar with the structure that they play in. Like, Zeev Bouillon isn't changing the dynamic that much for them to be so off cue and so kind of discombobulated sometimes. And, I point to guys like Brock Faber, who still looks like he's a little off. Like, I was so excited to see him come back refocused, and it's very, very odd. And it's not just Brock, it's the entire pairings of Jared Spurgeon, Jonas Brodin, Jake Middleton. Like, I'm not sure what's going on there. So that's even more concerning, because at least, if anything, you can rely on the Minnesota Wild being defensively stout. And right now you're not getting that. And when you're not getting the goals on top of it, you're making poor Philip Gustafsson and Jesper Velstead really stand on their head and try to steal you a game or two.
I thought in the game on Monday Night at the Garden, I thought that Spurgeon, for the most part, was great. He covered for Zeev a ton, and But I mean, you know what, to go back to like the game to me that stands out like a sore thumb because it was essentially 3 periods of what you're talking about, which is ordinarily inconsistency, the game against the Capitals, right?
Mhm.
I go back to what I said, I think a year ago. Sometimes I feel like this team plays like they think they're good. Like they think they've got talent. And it's like, okay, you got a few guys, no question, with great talent, but the whole team will play like, I'll give you one guy and he's won faceoff, so kudos for that. But I feel like Ryan Hartman is regressing to who he was previously, which is, he gets suspended and he comes back like a bat out of hell and second line in the playoffs because he's playing so well. But at the end of the day, it feels to me like guys are off. I agree with that. But then you also get guys that are playing like they think that they've got talent. And what I liked about Spurgeon's game against the Rangers was he was throwing his body around, like he's blocking shots, he's blocking passes. He made a great, like that's the engagement that I think that you need from the majority of this team all of the time. I know it's difficult, but I don't think you're going to win games if you throw your stick out there and think, I'm in the National Hockey League. I can just win games because I'm good. So, that's part of my thing is, and this is a John Hines thing, but I mean, John Hines is literally going back to like showing them tape from training camp. It's like, this is how we want to play. You were doing it then. What are we, 7 games in? So that's my frustration.
Yeah. And it's a two-sided coin for John Hines because it shows one, he got a heck of a lot more out of this team last year at times than they probably should have given him. But also right now, where is exactly what you're able to get from last year into this year? This is a fresh year. People should be healthy. They should be reinvigorated. You have a fresh slate there. Like your superstar is healthy and he's playing for the most part like a superstar and there's no outside distractions for the most part. Let's address the issue, which is you're not getting certain guys playing at a certain level like they were. So how do you get them back to that? Granted, I think some of them, like it's very similar to what you saw with Marcus Foligno a few years ago, where he had a 25% 25 shooting percentage. Like every shot he was throwing on net just happened to find the back of it. That's not sustainable, and we all knew that. But last year, I think we didn't realize that with maybe a Jake Middleton's offensive production, and now that's being scaled back, and he's coming more down to earth. Not that he's not a good player, but he's not as good of a player. So you're realizing maybe he's not as good as defensively as we all maybe remember him to be because he's not assisting on 2 or 3 goals a night. Same thing, Ryan Hartman. I think we were a little more noticeable of that, which is he rose to the occasion in the playoffs, and we all love that. It's great. Well, I can't trade him now. He's too valuable. You got to give him second, third line minutes. Well, now, does he deserve that anymore? He's kind of regressing. He's looking more like I love the faceoffs. Don't get me wrong. I love the faceoffs. But you have to, if you're John Hines, realize you can't just like make another star winger appear out of nowhere. You had the opportunity to try to do that in the offseason. You in the front office decided, you know what, maybe we should just wait. So now you've kind of made your bed. You got to lay in it. And this is what you're given. You know what you have out. Matt Zuccarello is not. And yeah, Matt Zuccarello is not going to be Gandalf coming over the hill for the Battle of Mordor here.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It sounds good.
Nerd.
It's great.
Nerd.
Great movie. Great movie.
Go with it.
But yeah, it's John Hines. It has a huge task in front of him, and he's shown he can do it. But like he needs to show he can do it again. That is all that needs to happen. It's probably a harder task than I'm making it out to be. But you've shown you can do it. Why not do it again?
Can he do it without a trade, Jessi? That's my question. Can he do it like are we going to get a trade? And it doesn't have to be, a blockbuster, but I'm talking for a legitimate scorer. Do we have to have a trade before Thanksgiving because like I feel like some of this is on Hines, but they just can't score goals. So do you think that they will make a trade before Thanksgiving to at least start to address this?
Yes. But we've been saying that kind of all year, right? Like that's not anything. I haven't changed that demeanor, just basically looking at the roster and kind of looking at how they performed through this handful of games. Yeah, you need something. You need something to change up the room, the roster. Again, if you're not believing in guys like Liam Mogren, Hunter Haight, Ben Jones aren't necessarily the answers either, right? Like you got to go get somebody that you believe in, and hopefully it's not a seasoned old wily vet who once in a while pops in a goal. Like hopefully it's somebody that's a pretty consistent 20 to 30 goal scorer that's going to come at a little bit of a price. But I think the other thing that this team is missing, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, in particular when we talk about Marcus Foligno, where's the physicality? I feel like that physicality of the hits and the heavy presence on the forecheck is kind of gone. Like that was, what made them successful, removing the opposition from the puck in that manner. And I think Foligno sometimes, and we've seen him do this, when he finds the back of the net, he leans into that a little bit, which is great. But then he forgets and removes himself from, I've never seen a stick break and him get hit so hard in my entire life than he did the other night, right? Which was ridiculous. And it seemed like it took him off guard because he's lost a little bit of that element. So like him in particular, but again, the guys on the forecheck, there needs to be just a heavier physical presence. They talk about the net front presence too and getting the bodies down there. That's been missing. But just in general, I feel like there's a lack of physicality from this team too, which is surprising.
Yeah, and Marcus can't buy a goal. So like it's like you and he fought in Philadelphia against Delorier, but that didn't mean much at the time. It was sort of an odd time to fight. He claimed he was trying to get himself going. But he had a couple of chances at the Garden on Monday night. He couldn't score. But that's the thing that's the trickle down is, and look, I don't expect him to start scoring goals left and right, but the trickle down is nobody else is picking up any slack as far as I can tell. Yeah, like Tarasenko's got one goal, and it's like, oh my God, he scored a goal. It's 5-on-5. It's like, okay, that's great. He's Tarasenko. He should score goals. And I still continue to I like the fact he went to the net on and Johansson credit, got the puck in front. Urov knocked it in. That's all awesome. But that was still, that was essentially a 2-1 game.
Yeah.
So, and the Urov thing interests me though, because I think he has made a very good case, both offensively and defensively. So that's the thing, right? Young centers, they don't know how to play defense. So we can't play him too much. I feel like Urov, and AJ and I talked about this a bit yesterday in our reaction to the game. I feel like he deserves, when Rossi's back, I think you got to find a top 3 role. My idea, Jessi, and we talked about this, was to have Hartman go to the wing and he can take faceoffs, that's fine. But Urov to me is part of this. You've got to start, if you're not going to make a trade, you've got to start getting some new blood in there, because the play the veterans thing simply not going to work.
Yeah. No, and I think Danila he's found a comfort level too, right? And he's constantly learning. That is what's so fun to watch him, is he takes everything to heart and really works on his game. And I think that's obviously helped him succeed. But I say change. Why are we not putting Tarasenko with Kirill? Have we tried this? Have we seen this? I don't know why that hasn't been.
Better question is, do we want this?
I don't know, right? But I don't know. I don't know what I want. Yeah, briefly, right?
Hines cannot stand. It's very clear he could, because he's tried in spurts. It's very clear he cannot stand to have Kirill and Boldy separated. But my problem is, again, when Zuccarello comes back, okay, let's say that Boldy goes to and to the second line. Is Tarasenko, how much does Tarasenko have left? Just flat out in the gas tank. So he is a car. How much does he have left in the gas tank? Because it looks to me like he might not be on E, but he's certainly on that back half of the gauge, and it feels like the light might go on very soon.
So fill him up. Fill him up with a little Kirill, with a little Octane 97, if you will. I need 15. Yeah, okay. I need 15 goals. I'm not asking for a lot. I want 15 to 20 goals. It's not much. I need something, but I just think we know what Kirill does for other players. If you want to get somebody going, give that an effort. And you're right. I understand Boldy and Kirill, that hot streak doesn't happen when they're separated, but you need to try it again. Ecker and Boldy play great together. Keep them together as your pair. Leave them as your pair. Find your other winger that's probably going to be named Marcus Johansson. I don't know. Whatever you need to do. But I just think try it. At this juncture, you need to start trying even more things. It's just not clicking.
Urov, Tarasenko, Kirill.
A new Red Army, if you will.
Oh, the Red Army, man, were they good.
They were so
Age.
Did you guys see the stat from Monday, from the other game against the Rangers, where it's you had the final NHL player born in Soviet, USSR with Panarin, and then the first player born under the new regime with Tarasenko.
I did.
So,
Interesting.
you know, we could get the hammer and sickle out. I don't care. Just if it's going to create goals, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. I'll try whatever. And it does feel like Hines gets mad during games. He breaks them up briefly, but it's not for a lengthy period of time. And if I'm not mistaken, that line with Rossi or Eck at center has started like they've been at the start of every game, 7 games so far. Those two wingers have been together. I don't think they've been broken up to start a game yet.
No,
So,
I don't believe so
I
either.
don't think so.
Yeah, you have to find something for sure. You know who can score? Team USA. That's right. In the World Junior Hockey Championships, which are coming to our fine state here, they don't come around much. This is actually the 50th anniversary of the tournament, which hasn't been played here since 1982. Now, it starts December 26th. It goes through January 5th. It's being held at Grand Casino Arena, of course, where the Wild plays, and also 3M at Mariucci. It's the best under 20 players in the world, future National Hockey League stars competing right here on our ice. Single game tickets on sale now, starting at $39. At $39, preliminary round of quarterfinal matchups. Go to worldjuniorsmn26.com. That's worldjuniorsmn26.com. All right, let's end on this. Did you guys happen to see Brad Marchand back in Boston last night? And the tribute, and by the way, this is why I do not like doing tribute videos for everyone, because when they're special, they are special. How awesome what was that? And for as much as they get ragged on, kudos, ESPN carried it and did the split screen, the video, and Marchand bawling like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
How great was that?
It was incredible, right? To see a guy like Marchand, of all things, right, get that emotional. And,
Awesome.
you know, he had acknowledged it before the game, how important his time in Boston really was to him. And it still is weird to me to not think of him as a Boston Bruin, right? Like, that's just where my mind goes. So it is as successful as he's obviously been with the Panthers. But then it just kind of felt like that game fell flat and short of expectations.
Oh, it did.
To follow
Boston's
up,
not-
right? Like,
Boston's
brutal.
not good.
No.
Like they came back and lost on a really bizarre goal, but Boston's not. And here's the thing too is, how many Bruins names did you really recognize? Like, I probably had five names, 6 names, but I mean, there was a ton. Like, that is an incredibly pedestrian team now. And so, yes, that game was more of a defensive game, but it was not fun. But I just thought that tribute was absolutely one of the best I've seen.
So
Yeah, that's exactly why you save it for the players that deserve them. Otherwise, you throw up the, hey, it's the still graphic. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for your time here. Not everybody needs a look at this work in the community. And hey,
Charlie
look how
Coyle was out at a hospital. Okay, that's great, but I don't care enough about Charlie Coyle.
You put that one on Twitter, not in the studio, not in the stadium, not in the arena. There's got to be a different level here, because now if Brad Marchand's getting one and Brandon Duhaim's getting one, where do we draw the line, right? Like where if everybody gets one, no one gets one. That's but emotionally, I think it was very cool to see, because like, really quick off sidebar, do you guys think that he is anywhere close to a Hall of Fame player? I think so, personally, but
I think he is. Yes,
I think there's
a
good argument. 1,100 games, and he's coming up on 1,000 points. 2-time.
But that's a longevity stat. That's I don't know. I think his personality has made him what he is in the National Hockey League, right? Which is great, and I mean that in the best way. From the character he is, to the pest he is, to the leader that he is. Skill-wise, like, again, I reserve the Hall of Fame for such elite, skilled talent. I don't care how emotionally attached I am or how emotionally attached they are to the league.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad Marchand doesn't. I mean, he's what? Was he ever a top liner in his career? He must have been.
4-time All-Star. He had a 100-point
champion
season in 2018-2019.
Yes,
Yeah, he's a Stanley Cup champion, but the team wins the cup.
that's true. But I mean,
Brad
he's played a
Marchand's not.
role, and he
I mean,
is.
yeah, maybe I'm being
Like
too hard.
Nico Sturm's not going to get a nod just because he's won 2 now.
Right.
But Nico Sturm's also never had a 100-point season, and I think it'd probably be a weak class. But the point that I was going towards there is, like, he is at least like a cult legend guy for the Bruins, and he's recognized throughout the league. And that coming home and just the the video tribute by the Bruins, the first off, very, very well done. The whole presentation was incredibly well done. And the Bruins fan base that was there, I mean, they adjust the levels and stuff on TV, but I would imagine it was probably deafening to the point where if you have Brad Marchand openly crying not even right before a game, it was in the middle of the game. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how he doesn't take a minute or two to step down the tunnel, collect himself, and then come back out. That's one of those super cool sports moments that you just love to see. So you can't replicate that with other stuff. It was
awesome. I take it back. From between 2016 and 2020, he was a really good player.
Awesome.
Yeah,
he was
fine. He was really good.
Yeah. Yes.
I recency bias the past.
No, it's okay.
Several years. I'm like, meh. I don't know.
The baggage at one point was really substantial too, which I think hurt him. He has cleaned up his act to a certain degree. Now his stunt in Buffalo of taking the guy's helmet and yanking the straps off on Saturday and tossing it back on the ice was sort of vintage Marchand. But the last thing is this, and it's fitting because those who are consuming today's show on YouTube can see that AJ has his Whalers hat on.
So good.
Are you offended, or do you applaud the fact that we don't get just one but two? The Colorado Avalanche, I think 7 times throughout the course of the season, are going to wear the Quebec Nordiques gear. And for 2 games against the Carolina Hurricanes, who have done this before and I guess agreed to do it again, the Carolina Hurricanes are going to wear the Hartford Whalers. So we are going to get a Nordiques Whalers Adams Division matchup from the 80s. What do you think, Jess?
I'm obsessed with the Whalers. You guys know that. Like, similar to
The
Age,
Nordiques.
I've got the hats, and the Nordiques are equally as like the full kits for both squads looks amazing. If I lived in Quebec or if I lived in Hartford, I'd be pissed. I wouldn't want to watch that at all, right? Like, I feel like this is garbage. This isn't even the same team. But it's incredible. Don't talk to me on Thursday because that's what I'm tuned into. Like, I'm very excited. My kids are gonna have to do without watching.
At the Vikings game though, at the same time, that's my problem.
I got split screen. Don't worry about it. I got it figured out.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I feel like if you have a matchup where they're wearing both of those jerseys, it has to either take place in Quebec or Connecticut. Like that can't happen in Denver. That can't happen in North.
So you don't like it?
I like it visually. It's so appealing. It's such a good look. But my problem is, and maybe this is sounding hypocritical because I love the Wild 67 or 78 jerseys or whatever.
78.
But the issue is that they changed the logo on the front to use the Wild logo and not the North Stars logo. I like the color scheme, but here you got to use the Avalanche logo and the Carolina Hurricanes logo, because this is just stolen valor. This is just stolen valor and a slap.
I don't care. That's my youth. So buzz off. It's my youth. I love it. Adams Division,
Connecticut. They're a hardworking people. They bring their lunch pail to work and they're getting slapped in the face. We're going to take your hockey team and make you just year after year steal your honor. It's the
Stastny brothers, Michel Goulet. No, man, this is all about me. I don't care about those folks. I'm sorry. I lost my team too. The other thing though is, and look, the Avs, I think the Avs logo is definitely okay. All right. But the other thing too is, one, the Nordiques is one of the best. Like Jessi said, that kit and that logo is fantastic. And the Hurricane stuff doesn't even come close. No. The Whalers stuff is so much better. So it's a reminder again of my long-held belief that very few teams, and in football, no team has ever improved itself by changing its logo. Like that Nordiques, the fact that no one's got that Nordiques look is just fantastic. The Whalers I love, and I think the Hurricanes is garbage.
Hurricanes is bad. My problem also too is there's rumors that with expansion stuff, they're going to go back to Quebec. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen there? Are they going to force them to not be the Nordiques? Like, at a certain point, you either got to make Colorado stop using it. Because once again, I'm going to say,
if they did that, they would. Yeah. But I mean,
it's weird too.
I don't think they'll go back there though. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll go back.
Small of a market.
I think they're going to suburban Atlanta for sure. Houston, which good luck with that. I hate Houston.
Back to Phoenix. Back to Arizona.
Oh, that's a good call, actually. That's a great call.
I think they are though.
Sharks territory.
Yeah.
right? I think that's Sharks territory. But they will go back. You're right. If they can get competent ownership and arena, they'll be back in Arizona in a heartbeat.
Yes. Big time.
Well, especially with ASU there too. I mean, hockey's got its footprint.
Yeah.
It might
no
make
problem
a
with it.
lot of sense, right? It's as silly as it sounds, like we joke about it, but the only thing that's weird, final, I know we got to go, is it weird that the NHL is expanding to more teams than the NFL?
At a certain
Like,
point,
right?
it's
Like,
greed.
that's
It's greed.
weird.
They don't need it. It's greed. I believe did I see that we're talking the next expansion fee is like $2 billion.
it's a lot. It's a lot of money.
So weird.
It's unnecessary. You've diluted the product already. You don't need to. It's all greed. It's cash grabs. It's what Gary Bettman is all about. Cash grabs.
It's so
See,
much
but-
that Glenn Taylor couldn't use what he sold the Timberwolves for to now start a hockey team. Like it's too much.
It's
'Cause,
why
like-
it's why they ruined the outdoor game, right? Which is a great once a year thing, and they're like, let's have 18 of them because they worked. It's all a cash grab.
Just saying, like, it's 32 across the board for all the major four
I know.
sports, right? And it's like, oh, but we're the NHL. Like, you of all people don't have a product that can support 34 to 36 teams. Like, that's
I know.
weird.
Spreads out the
30 for
talent too much.
baseball. So,
Yeah.
all right, kids, we have to go. Jessi, we'll talk to you next week. I'm sure AJ and I'll be back to talk about a wild game and their lack of scoring before that. But anyway, Judd's Hockey Show. We'll see you later.